So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Venus and Ketu in the 7th house of your birth chart, as in what happens when Venus is in the 7th with Ketu. Okay. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this conjunction, along with all your astrological details, you can check out the links here, astrology.com. Under shop section, you'll find all the books, reports, consultations, as well as my blank chart prediction course link. All of it is up there. So, and yeah, you should see some of the student feedbacks of the blank chart predictions. It's like once you know that, life becomes easy. So Venus Ketu in the 7th house, one thing it shows is that such a person at one point, especially post-marriage, will attain great heights of vehicles, luxury, wealth, money. Okay? But what happens here is this. Venus is with Ketu. What happens when Ketu is in the 7th? Okay? Naturally, a person wants that thing wherever Ketu is. They desperately look for that. They desperately want that. Once they get it, they lose that interest. They lose their interest in that particular thing. Okay? It's like you're wanting to attain enlightenment, and when you attain enlightenment, you're like, okay, I guess that's it. There's nothing else, nothing more. That's what happens. Now, the thing is, when Ketu is behind Venus, okay, a person will naturally be very patient towards connecting with people, giving one's commitment to people. They will always have the doubtful eye when they are talking to someone, engaging with someone, dealing with business with someone. And at the same time, with this Venus and Ketu, one brings naturally desire or skills connected to textile, fashion designing, wanting to deal with clothing. And Venus Ketu also shows that if the person is atheist or agnostic, when especially the spouse comes in this person's life, regardless of if it's a man or woman, when Ketu's behind Venus, the spouse brings in their spiritual experience to change this person. Make this person realize that, listen, there is some higher divinity. There is some higher force out there. More than your Neil deGrasse Tyson and Michio Kaku and Einsteins. There's something bigger working. They're only here because of those things. Now, when Venus is in front of, or Ketu's in front of Venus, what happens is post-marriage, husband and wife go through certain experiences, okay, together, that makes them either understand that this is life, this is divinity, this is God. Okay? And if they don't learn that particular part, if you're an atheist or agnostic with Ketu in front of Venus, at one point, it definitely does cut off your marriage and relationships. Ketu wants you to surrender. Number one, but to who? It's not saying to surrender to the spouse. It's in front of Venus. Venus is behind Ketu. Ketu doesn't care if you surrender to the spouse or the mother or father. It says surrender to the world. Surrender to the samsara. Surrender to the Maya. Only then you're able to understand your place in this marriage and relationship. Okay, and you will see when Ketu is in front. See, when Ketu is in the back, a person naturally will not be so much interested in having the most fanciest things. They will take it. They will have certain level of excitement, but they're not like because they know, I have experienced this. They're like, this experience of Venus I have already had. Okay, because Ketu has gone past Venus. And Ketus are past. So it says, I have already taken this. I've already done this. Now, when Ketu's in front of Venus, you will see such people want the highest form of luxury, the most refined luxury. They don't want to go to some average five-star restaurant. They will try to go to Michelin star restaurant. But what happens is, and this is the most adventurous person you will see with Venus Ketu, because they are wanting to understand the experience of life and world, because once they get the experience, now that fad goes away. Now that interest goes away. It hits it like a shock, like, yeah, I'm not interested in this. So this person has to experience luxury when Ketu's in front in order for them to understand that this is not important. Okay. For example, you know, actually, no, forget about that example, because I'm still learning. But the thing is, when Venus and Ketu are in the seventh, the biggest elixir to the marriage is sadhana. Spiritual sadhana has to be like you're brushing your teeth or taking a shower. If you have to force yourself into a sadhana where some days you're not in the mood for it, some days you are, then you feel this disconnect with the spouse because Ketu's in front of Venus. And one of the best marriages that happens with this Venus Ketu in the seventh is when a person either meets a lawyer, chartered accountant, or somebody who's like doing business connected with fashion designing, connected with business of, let's say, even pipes and plumbing. When they find such a person, or a person is dealing with algorithms, person is in a specialized health field. This is anytime, any house with Venus and Ketu. Here it needs to be in a form of business. But more than that, the sadhana has to be there. And especially because Venus is in front of Ketu, you have to surrender yourself to the spouse in order for your marriage to work. If you don't surrender, if you say, oh, I am 50-50 and I need my spot and I need this, then Ketu brings that stop. Because you haven't learned your lesson in marriage. Seems like we have to give you another lesson in next life. Okay, you have to surrender. Like keeping the spouse happy will make Ketu happy. Why? Because you're simply doing your duty that you're supposed to, blindly. See, Ketu works off of intuition, feelings, the heart. Doesn't have the head. So one intuitively needs to be in that mode of, I'm going to take care of my spouse. Now, of course, if other planets come into play, you can't just blindly become subservient, because what if they're abusing you? What I'm saying here is more on a practical, normal way of life. Normal husband and wife. Yes, they argue, but they love each other. They're together. They retire together. That's what I'm talking about. In that case, you have to surrender. And you will see, especially with Venus and Ketu, spouse, especially the wife, will after marriage will not like to eat much. Okay, she will not like to eat much. She will also have many dietary requirements. Like she will change her. Oh my God, my hand hurts from. Literally, I've played 72 holes today of golf. Not even 36. Almost 72. But what was I saying? Yeah. So, spouse will not like to eat, like especially the wife, not the spouse, the wife, if it's the man's chart. After marriage, the spouse, especially if Ketu's in the front, they will always try some different kind of a dietary plan. If Ketu's behind Venus, then they will, as long as Venus is not retrograde, then they will have a normal diet, normal desire to eat things. Now, especially if retrograde Venus is with Ketu, you know those remedies that people cringe at of wanting to marry a tree or a bull or a cow? You definitely want to look into that. Before doing the marriage, you should look into marrying a cow or a bull depending upon what the Indian temple Pandit will recommend. Okay? Because I don't have your chart in front of you. I don't know which nakshatra Venus is in. I don't know what's your gotra. I don't know what's your gana. So it's better to, but certain places, especially with retrograde Venus, you want to either marry a dhatu or a mula. Actually, mula or a jiva, sorry, not dhatu. Mula is in a tree. Jiva is in like cow, buffalo, bull. And the thing is, your duty does not end from that ritual. Like, oh, okay, my marriage happened, now let's go and get married again. No, that cow, you better treat that cow like your family. Even if you move out of different country, send that particular farmer money to take care of that cow. When you visit India, you go meet that cow. You have your karma set with that cow. That cow is observing all the negative things for you. Treat it like your mother, your sister, your wife. Treat it like it's your family. Don't just abandon it. Many people do that. That's bad. Appreciate the mammal who is actually willing to take on quietly your karma upon them. Okay? So always take care of them, whether from India you move to Australia or something. And you should not do these type of remedies in like out of country where they use cattle for beef and for meat and all that. Only in India where they're using the cow or the bull or the water buffalo for farming, milk. Like just whoever will have like that animal live out their full life on the farm. Okay, so I know many people ask if we can do this in US. No. Because then that you don't want that, you're getting those cattle and cows that are ultimately going to become food. You're supposed to be taking care of them. So yeah, with retrograde Venus, some of these sign placement and nakshatra placement will show that such a person needs to do certain remedies before going into a actual matrimonial unionship. Okay. And also Venus Ketu. I mean, such people enjoy and love attention. They want to be appreciated from the far. They don't want to like mingle in with the people, but they like to be appreciated from the far. Okay, usually you will see with Venus Ketu in the 7th, if the person's name starts with R or a person's name starts with K or G, you will say they love being appreciated. They love being admired a lot. Okay. Also, Venus and Ketu shows your home will have either a narrow lane in the front of the home, very narrow lane. Venus Ketu will also show you could have a 3-story home, odd steps in the home, your apartment or home will be equal to number 7. And especially in your, when you have a Venus Ketu conjunction, please make sure you find a home ultimately where you can make a place for meditation in northeast direction. Like the northeast section of the property should be your spot of meditation, not like some, room or place of putting junk. No, it should have a place of puja, even if it's a small space. Not even puja, I'm talking about meditation. Dhyan and sadhana. Okay? So anyway, guys, this is my analysis of Venus Ketu conjunct in the 7th house. Again, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss this type of videos. If you want to know everything about your Venus Ketu conjunction and all the astrological details, go to ketuastrology.com. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.